You see someone online making a lot of money, and immediately a thought hits you. I could do this better. You have more skill, more intelligence, better ideas, and deeper understanding. You know it. And yet, somehow, they're winning, and you're still struggling. That gap between what you believe you deserve and what your life actually looks like creates a quiet frustration that never really goes away, because you were taught something very different growing up. You were taught that talent rises, that smart people succeed, that the best naturally end up on top. But when you look around the real world, that story completely falls apart. The world is full of brilliant people who can't pay their bills, while people with far less talent seem to be winning at life. This isn't random, it isn't bad luck, and it isn't because the world is unfair. There is a deep psychological reason why talent so often leads to an empty bank account, and understanding this is the first step to changing everything. For many talented but broke people, the problem starts early with what's known as the gifted child trap. When you grow up being told that you're smart or special, your brain learns a dangerous lesson. It learns that success is something you are, not something you do. Because things come easily, you don't build the habit of struggling, failing, and pushing through resistance. Over time, you begin to value your identity as a talented person more than the actual work required to succeed. This creates an intense fear of failure. If you try something difficult and fail, it doesn't just feel like a mistake. It feels like proof that maybe you were never special after all. To avoid that pain, you stay in your comfort zone, doing things that feel safe and familiar. You avoid situations where you might have to be a beginner, because for a talented person, being bad at something feels humiliating. This fear slowly turns into inaction. Talented people don't usually fail because they lack ability. They fail because they don't start. They overthink, overplan, and wait for the perfect moment. They tell themselves they're being strategic, but in reality, they're protecting their ego. Money, growth, and opportunity don't exist in perfect conditions. They exist in messy action. The uncomfortable truth is that the path to money always begins with being bad at something. If you can't tolerate that phase, you never reach the level where people are willing to pay you serious money. Perfectionism then becomes the next trap. Because you understand quality, you want everything you create to be great from the beginning. You don't want to put your name on something average, so you keep refining, polishing, and waiting. Months turn into years and nothing ever gets released. Meanwhile, less talented people don't have this problem. They know they're not perfect, so they move fast. They launch, fail, adjust, and try again. While they're learning from real-world feedback, you're still working on an idea no one has ever seen. A perfect idea has zero value until it's finished, shared, and sold. You can't earn money from something that only exists in your head. Another major reason talented people stay broke is confusion between skill and value. Skill is what you can do. Value is how much that skill helps someone else. The market doesn't reward talent on its own. It rewards usefulness. You can be the best writer, designer, coder, or artist in the room, but if your work doesn't clearly solve a problem people care about, it won't pay you. Many talented people focus inward, obsessing over how good they are, instead of looking outward at what people actually need. The moment you stop asking, "How talented am I?" and start asking, "Who does this help?" everything begins to change. Some people also find a strange comfort in being the struggling genius. Being broke becomes part of their identity. They tell themselves stories about money being corrupt or success being shallow. Deep down, this protects them from the risk of trying and failing. It's easier to believe you're broke by choice than to admit you're afraid to compete. But talent unused isn't noble. It's wasted. You don't honor your gifts by hiding them. You honor them by using them to create a better life. Many talented people remain stuck even after they understand their fear. The problem now isn't awareness, it's direction. Talented people are often good at many things. You can write, speak, think, design, and lead. Because you can do so much, you try to do everything. You start multiple projects, chase different ideas, and constantly switch focus. The result is that nothing ever goes deep enough to create real value. The market doesn't reward people who are good at many things. It rewards people who are exceptional at one specific thing. When your talent is spread too thin, it never becomes powerful enough to break through. There's also a deep fear of being seen as average. When people know you're talented, you feel pressure to succeed in a big, impressive way. Starting small feels embarrassing. Taking a basic job or launching a simple business feels like a failure. So you wait for the right opportunity, protecting an image that mostly exists in your own head. The truth is, people aren't watching you as closely as you think. They're busy with their own problems. That fear of judgment keeps more talented people poor than lack of ability ever does. Your relationship with money also plays a huge role. Many talented people believe that if their work is good enough, money will automatically follow. That belief is wrong. Money is a skill. Selling is a skill. Pricing, negotiation, and financial management are skills. Ignoring money doesn't make you pure. It makes you dependent. Money is not the enemy of talent. It's the fuel that allows talent to reach people. Without understanding how money works, even the most gifted person will always feel stuck. Another silent killer is lack of urgency. Talent creates the illusion that there's always time. You believe you can turn it on later, that opportunities will still be there when you're ready. But time is the one thing talent cannot replace. Every year spent waiting is a year of growth you'll never get back. Skills lose value. Markets change. Urgency is what turns talent into momentum. Without it, talent stays trapped as unused potential. Potential itself becomes addictive. It feels good to be told you're going to be something one day. But potential is just unpaid work. It's a promise you haven't kept yet. Over time, living on potential leads to bitterness and resentment toward people who took action. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. One group pays the debt of potential with action. The real shift happens when you stop focusing on yourself and start focusing on the problem you're solving. Money flows toward problems. When your attention moves away from ego, perfection, and self-expression and toward helping someone else, your work becomes lighter and more effective. You stop trying to prove yourself and start providing value. That's when opportunities, clients, and income begin to show up. Talent without structure eventually disappears. You need systems, a schedule, routines, and a process for finishing things even when motivation is gone. Inspiration comes and goes, but systems create consistency. A talented person with a system will always outperform a talented person who relies on feeling ready. Being broke is temporary. Being poor is a mindset. You don't need permission, a title, or a perfect plan. You need movement. Pick one way to turn your skill into value and act on it today. Don't wait for confidence. Don't wait for perfection. Action is what transforms talent into success. Your future isn't waiting for you to think. It's waiting for you to move.